Okay, so we are going to do Doomwar. Now, Doomwar picks up where our last video left off at. And if you're wondering where you can watch the last video, don't worry, I'll put a link down below. Now, with that being said though, everything we have been covering in our last two Black Panther videos lead up to this right here. Now remember, Doctor Doom has been working behind the scenes by funding a new organization that was hiding out in Wakanda. Their name is Desturi. Now Desturi, this group of Wakanda people, felt like with T'Challa as their king and Shuri as their princess slash queen, they felt like Wakanda has lost its way. And so their goal was to remove those people so that Wakanda can go back to its old traditions. And so with Dr. Doom funding that group, they were able to attack Wakanda in different political ways. And with T'Challa kind of healing up after losing his battle against Doctor Doom, and with Shuri away from Wakanda dealing with problems in America, it made the people look at their king and their queen as bad people, because as their country suffered, T'Challa nor Shuri were trying to help their country out. Now, with all that being said, what's really messed up is T'Challa just ran away. He watched Wakanda basically fall apart left and right, but instead of being a king, he ran away. Now he'll explain why he did that later on in this book. But then also Storm got arrested because Storm was trying to use her powers to figure out what in the world is going on with the crops, because crops were not growing. Now, while she was out there, she was trying to defend other farmers who were being attacked by other people. But when she used her powers against those bad people, it made her look like a bad person. And so right now, in the opening pages of this book, the whole world is watching the trial of Storm. And you have Storm pleading not guilty because she knows what is happening right now. Some new organization, which we know their names are Desturi, is trying to take over Wakanda. And so with that, it's Storm saying, you may think you're going to win. Yea, I may have been charged as a guilty person, but don't worry. My husband, your king, he'll come back for his country sooner or later. Now, if you're wondering why in the world did Doctor Doom actually help fund this evil organization that took over Wakanda, because that is very strange for Doctor Doom. But in reality, for Doctor Doom, the reason why he did that so that he has nothing standing in his way when it comes to him trying to access the Great Mound. Now, the Great Mound is basically holding a high amount of vibranium. Now, vibranium is one of the rarest metal in Marvel Comics. With that being said though, most of it is right now in the Great Mound. And of course, it's locked away by a great system that was built by T'Challa. And so Doctor Doom is trying to access the Great Mound. But to get to it, he has to go through a door that has 10 different kinds of locks that were made by T'Challa. But then we jump over to the X-Men. Now the reason why is for two different reasons. The first is that they were watching Storm on live television, because while Storm was on trial, the whole world was watching. Because at this point, Storm was the queen of Wakanda. She was married to T'Challa. And so to see a queen of a great country be put on trial is huge. The whole world was watching her. But also because she is an X-Men, you had the X-Men watching her, wondering what in the world is going on in Wakanda. Because at this point, the X-Men were literally like a family. They look at Storm as a sister. And so to see her on trial and not have her husband by her side to actually defend her, it really makes the X-Men very angry. And the big question they have is, where in the world is T'Challa? Because remember, when Doctor Doom and the story were taking over Wakanda, he just left. And he left Storm behind as well. And so the X-Men are very angry at T'Challa. But that is the moment you have Psylocke walk in and tell the X-Men that they have a visitor. But we do jump back over to Storm, because this is Marvel kind of answering the question, why doesn't Storm use her powers to escape? Because when she gets inside her cell basically cancels out her powers. So now she can't use her powers to escape. But if you're wondering why she did not try to escape before being put inside the jail cell, well, because the cuffs she had on also cancel out her powers, and so she had no powers this whole time. Now when she gets inside the cell, you do have one of the members of the story say, we think T'Challa made this cell just in case he had to lock you up, because what kind of cell has the ability to cancel out your mutant ability? But then we jump back over to the X-Men meeting up with T'Challa. Now, like I said earlier, the X-Men are angry at T'Challa because he left Storm by herself to defend herself when he knew that as a husband, as a man, he should be next to his wife. And so you had T'Challa say he had to choose his wife or his country. And of course, he says he had to choose his country. But then you have Marvel remind us about the Broker. Now remember, the Broker was kind of like another person working with Doctor Doom, kind of help him plan out this whole entire plan. And right now we see the Broker is working on a special kind of project. And this special kind of project is a new version of the Doombots. Now remember, Doombots are really just Doctor Doom, but they're robots that believe that they are Doctor Doom. And so when they're sent out in the world, they really believe that they are actually Doctor Doom. But in reality, they're just robots. But this new version is going to be very special and powerful. Now, getting back to the meeting between Black Panther and the X-Men want Black Panther to explain himself because they want to know, how could you leave your queen behind? How could you leave your wife behind? And you have T'Challa say he had no choice, because he knew about this story, that organization that was trying to remove Black Panther from power. He knew about them, but it's T'Challa saying they're so good in staying hidden, he had a hard time finding a single member. Matter of fact, he couldn't find a single member. And so with that being said, T'Challa said, listen, if I had stayed with my country, trying to defend my position, trying to defend my country, to help save my country, it'll be like fighting against an invisible wave, a wave of water that is heading towards your country. But the problem is though, it is invisible, so you have no idea which angle is coming from. But even if you do see it, can you actually stop a wave before it crashes into your country? Most times you can't. And so it's Black Panther saying, with him running away with his sister, now the story is out in the open. And so now he can attack them, take back his country, stop Doctor Doom, and stop this story. But then you have Emma Frost as T'Challa. Why is Doctor Doom trying to take over Wakanda? What does he want in Wakanda? And that is the moment you have T'Challa say that Doctor Doom wants vibranium. Now, we already knew that, but you didn't have T'Challa say the reason why Doctor Doom wants it so bad, because yes, we know vibranium can be used to make great weapons, great technology, but also it can enhance somebody's magical abilities. The problem is though, when it comes to Black Panther and the people of Wakanda, they never found the way to use vibranium as a way to enhance someone's magic abilities. But someone like Doctor Doom could easily figure that out in a matter of seconds, or minutes, or hours. But then we jump back over to Storm, because right now we pick up with Storm trying to break out of her cell. Now, this is Marvel reminding us, when it comes to Storm, when she was younger, she was a thief. And so she is trying to use her skills to break out of her cell. But of course, she is caught by Doctor Doom. But Doctor Doom wants to use her for a very special reason. But getting back over to the meeting between the X-Men and Black Panther, this is the moment you have Black Panther ask Cyclops for help. Can Black Panther use some of the members of the X-Men? Now you have Cyclops really say no. And the reason why, because at this point, this is when the X-Men had Utopia, a brand new nation in the world. And so it's Cyclops saying, listen, we just got this island. We just became our own nation. The problem is though, if we go attack Wakanda, it will make mutants look bad. Because right now, the mutants just got their own nation. And now they're going out there starting wars with smaller countries. And then sooner or later, they're going to move up the chain to bigger countries. And so it's Cyclops trying to avoid all of that. But when Black Panther walks out to his jet, he comes to find out there are some members of the X-Men that are going to go with him to help him save Storm and also take back Wakanda. Now, why these X-Men are going is because it's Cyclops saying, I can't go. Emma Frost can't go, because right now we are the faces of this new nation. And so if they see us, it'll make us look bad. But if we send in those guys, we'll be okay. So go take back Wakanda. Go stop Doctor Doom, but especially go save Storm. Getting back over to Doctor Doom, we do learn why he wanted Storm for. Because with Storm having the ability to kind of be a thief, which means that she is able to unlock a lot of locks, there's a lock that right now Doctor Doom can't get through. And so it is him saying, listen Storm, you need to use your skills as a thief to unlock that lock for me. But of course, if you don't do that, I will kill different family members of T'Challa and Shuri every minute or two. So you have a choice. You can help me and pick that lock, or you can watch the whole entire family of your husband die one by one. Now we do jump back over to Shuri, T'Challa, and the X-Men right now planning out their attack. How are they going to take back Wakanda? Now, of course, when it comes to T'Challa and the X-Men, they're more like heroes. Their goal is to go into Wakanda, but not spill any kind of blood. But when it comes to Shuri, she's realistic here. She's kind of like, listen, we're about to attack our country, and we know that our country is one of the most powerful countries in the world. We have great weapons, advanced weapons. And so you cannot expect us to go into that country, fight against our army, Desturi, and also Doctor Doom without spilling any kind of blood. No, there's going to be some blood spill. But when that blood spill, of course, it's all for us to save Wakanda. That is our main goal right there. But getting back over to Desturi, now with them being in charge of Wakanda, they thought that with them taking over, everything is going to be easy. But the people of Wakanda, they really want their king back. They want their queen back. But on top of that, they're now hoping that Desturi can handle the problems that they have made. And so right now it's them kind of like, we made a lot of problems for this country, so we can take it over. But now we have to fix the problems that we have made. And those problems can't be fixed so easily. On top of that, these people do not want to go back to our old traditions. And so right now, it's the story kind of wondering, how in the world can we fix all of our problems. But getting back over to Doctor Doom and Storm, we do see Storm still trying to work very hard to unlock the 9th lock to the Great Mound. Now with that being said, because she is taking so much time, you do have Doctor Doom continue to kill off different members of T'Challa's family. But right when it seems like he's about to kill T'Challa's and Shuri's mother, that is when she's able to unlock the 9th lock. But there is still one more lock that Doctor Doom must unlock if he wants to get vibranium. Now, we do pick up with Shuri, T'Challa, and the X-Men and their army arriving at the border of Wakanda. Now, this is a very crucial moment because when they do arrive, you do have T'Challa basically say, hey, listen, the people of Wakanda who wants me back as their king, who wants to get rid of these bad people, I need you to stand up. Now, Desturi, you may be this powerful organization, but this is my one and final warning. To surrender before we come in there and take everything you have built in this short period of time and we break it down. Now, this is T'Challa hoping to have a peaceful treaty, hoping that Desturi will just go ahead and give up. But if they do fight, hopefully no one dies. But when it comes to Shuri, Shuri's all like, no. We're about to fight against a powerful nation, a powerful organization, and a powerful villain known as Doctor Doom. We cannot expect us to go in this battle without spilling any kind of blood. But we want to make sure that the people know that we are serious, that we are here to take over or take back Wakanda. And so you have Shuri kill one of the members of the Desturis to show all of Wakanda that she is serious about taking back what belongs to her family, which is Wakanda. And so when we get into the second chapter of this book, we actually do pick up where you have Black Panther, Shuri, and the X-Men fighting against the army of the Desturi and some members of the Wakandan army. And so the battle does last for a couple pages, but then you have T'Challa as Nightcrawler to teleport him into the room where Doctor Doom is at. But when Nightcrawler tries to teleport down there, he is sent right back where he was, meaning that Doctor Doom was able to put some kind of barrier around the room to keep Black Panther, Shuri, and the X-Men out of for the time being. But getting back over to Doctor Doom, right now you have Doctor Doom angry at Storm. And the reason why? Because Storm is unable to unlock the final lock to the Great Mound. Because that lock is not your usual lock. It's a magical lock. And so with that being said, it's Doctor Doom realizing he needs to find a different way around that last and final lock. But getting back to the big battle that's happening right now in Wakanda, you have Shuri, T'Challa, the X-Men, and even the Dora Milaje fighting against the Wakandan army. Now remember, when it comes to the Dora Milaje, they usually fight alongside their king or queen. Their main goal is to protect the king or queen. They are the great warriors of Wakanda, but of course, they have left Wakanda to help T'Challa and Shuri out, because to the Dora Milajes, T'Challa and Shuri are the real king and princess of Wakanda, not this new group who came in here and took over in a very political way. And so right now you have the Dora Milaje fighting alongside the X-Men, fighting alongside Shuri, fighting alongside T'Challa. They're trying their best to take over Wakanda once again. But getting back over to Doctor Doom is right now inspecting the last lock, trying to figure out how to get around it. Now, we have no idea what is the final lock just yet, but we will here in a few minutes. But either way, though, you do have Storm say that T'Challa, the Black Panther, will stop Doctor Doom. But you have Doctor Doom say he will fail, like he always has. This whole time, he has been trying to fight me, trying to find different ways to stop me. But every single step that he has taken led him down the path of a failure. And here he is right now in a big war against me. And let me tell you this, Storm. It's not about who wins the battle, it's about who wins the war. So even if T'Challa finds a way to stop me today or win this battle right here, I still have the ability to win the war. And let me tell you now, T'Challa will fail at the end of this war. Now, real quick, I do want to jump back over to the great battle that's happening right now in Wakanda, because right now you have Shuri reminding us that she is more violent than her brother. Now, in the earlier chapter, it seemed like Shuri was just being more realistic. Like she knows that this great war is gonna have some people dying, which of course makes sense. But then right now, we see her just killing people even when they stand down. Nightcrawler gets very upset by this, but this is Shuri saying, listen, these men betrayed their country. They betrayed Wakanda. When they decide to turn their back on us and join the Desturi to help the Desturi take over our country, they are now traitors, which means they can die. And so with that, it's Marvel saying, Shuri is more violent, but Shuri is somebody who is going to handle all these different kinds of situations in the best way she can. But then we learn what is the final lock that is keeping Doctor Doom out of the Great Mound. And that is the moment we come to find out the final lock says that only someone who has pure purity can walk through the door. And with Doctor Doom, he's not purity at all. This man is straight up evil. He is straight up crazy. He has so many evil ideas in his mind that right then and there's no way he'll be able to walk through the last lock. And so it's Doctor Doom thinking, how can he get around this last and final lock? But getting back over to Shuri, you do have Shuri kind of get into an argument with Nightcrawler. And basically it's Nightcrawler being very upset with the idea of Shuri killing off people who have betrayed her country. Because the Nightcrawler, he's kind of like, you're their queen or you're their princess, and here you are killing people. What is wrong with you? Do you want to be known as somebody who is okay with bloodshed? Are you okay with being known as the princess who has killed hundreds of people just because they betrayed their country? You could have brought them back to your side. But then you have Shuri say, you do not understand our culture though, Nightcrawler. We are a small country that has always defended itself in different kinds of ways because we have always been under attack. And with that being said, we always had to be aggressive. And so with these guys betraying their country, helping out the Desturi to take over our country, we had no choice but to go ahead and kill them. To continue the idea that we have always been a force to reckon with. Nobody is going to stop us. And after she says that, she tells her brother, hey bro, go ahead and go down to the room to finally stop Doctor Doom. Finally stop him, save Storm, and we can end this crazy war between him. But when T'Challa enters into the room to face Doctor Doom, you do have Doctor Doom give T'Challa an ultimatum. He must choose between two things, Storm, his wife, or the vibranium in the Great Mound. Now, you do have Doctor Doom count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but T'Challa, he doesn't move because he knows that Doctor Doom is not going to kill Storm right then and there. But of course, you do have T'Challa not realize that Doctor Doom was able to get through the last and final lock. He was able to show that lock that he has purity. And so with that, Doctor Doom was able to get every single ounce of the vibranium, which is very huge. And so with that, now it's T'Challa trying to figure out how in the world did Doctor Doom get through the last lock, and now how can they stop Doctor Doom, because he just teleports away after getting every single ounce of the vibranium. But of course, now it's T'Challa. He must chase down Doctor Doom. But then we jump into the third chapter. Now, with the third chapter, the first few pages are really a review on how we got to Doomwar and also what has happened so far in Doomwar to kind of help people who may jump right in the middle of the storyline, or to help people who have been reading a lot of Black Panther content and may forgot how we got to this point so far. But the reason why we're having this review as well is because it's T'Challa telling someone this story. And this somebody he's hoping could possibly help them stop Doctor Doom. And that one person, well really, that one team is the Fantastic Four. Because remember, when it comes to Doctor Doom, the Fantastic Four is usually this person Doctor Doom fights against the most. And of course, there is a rivalry between Doctor Doom and Reed Richards. And so this is T'Challa asking for the help of the Fantastic Four. But at the same time, you still have T'Challa wondering, how in the world did Doctor Doom get through the last and final lock? A lock where he must have pure purity to walk through it. Now, this is part of the story where you really have the book kind of jump all over the place. So hopefully I can keep you guys on track with us jumping around to make sure we get all the information we need to move on. But with that being said though, we actually jump back 6 hours ago where we pick up with Doctor Doom facing the final lock. And this is the book showing us how in the world Doctor Doom was able to get through the last lock. And so what he does is he takes off every single piece of armor to the point where he is just basically naked. But of course, with that being said, he is teleported away to be judged to see if he does have pure purity. But then we jump over to Shuri and Ben Grimm. And right now we see these two characters talking to some soldiers that work for Shuri. Now these soldiers are telling Shuri, hey listen, we were able to talk to the prisoners and get some more information out of them. We were able to figure out where we can find more members of the Desturi group, and possibly mean we can hopefully shut down their group once we go to these different locations. But then you have Shuri wonder, what is Doctor Doom going to do with every single ounce of the vibranium? And you have Shuri tell Ben Grimm that her brother T'Challa thinks that Doctor Doom is going to use the vibranium as a way to upgrade his Doombots, but to also upgrade his own armor to make the vibranium upgrade his magical powers as well. But then we pick up with Doctor Doom in the present day, where we see him right now meeting up with the broker. Now remember, the broker is kind of like this planner for Doctor Doom. He's able to help Doctor Doom plan different things out left and right. But also the broker is very good at financing Doctor Doom's money. And with that being said, you have the broker tell Doctor Doom, you have to know that sooner or later, T'Challa is gonna come after you. And when he does, it's going to cost you a lot of money to just stop him or to just keep him busy. Are you ready to lose all that money? And for Doctor Doom, he's kind of like, yes, go ahead and use all my money you can. But my goal is almost in reach, so I do not care about my money at all. But going back in the past once again, you still have T'Challa and Storm still trying to figure out how in the world was Doctor Doom able to get through that last lock. Because again, that last lock said you must have pure purity to get through this last and final lock. And so with that, Storm told T'Challa, I watched Doctor Doom. He took off every single piece of his armor and then he was teleported away. And now we come to find out where he was teleported to. He was teleported to Bast, the Panther God's world. Because remember, Bast is the Panther God, and Bast is the one who usually picks if someone is able to become the Black Panther. But I guess T'Challa also put that lock on there to have Bast decide if someone has pure purity. And so with that, Dr. Doom was teleported right in front of Bast the Panther God. Now here comes the big thing though. If you're being judged by Bast the Panther God and you failed Bast's test, you will die. Meaning that if you fail, you die. Just like that. And Dr. Doom knows that. But Dr. Doom thinks that he is able to show Bast that he deserves to get through that last and final lock to get to the Great Mound, to get every single ounce of the vibranium. And we know he was able to convince Bast the Panther God to let him through. But the big question is though, how was he able to convince the Panther God that he was not pure evil? But then we get this moment that's really for Storm. What I mean is this right here. In the present day, you have T'Challa and Storm still in the room trying to figure out how in the world Dr. Doom was able to get through the last lock. But then you have a soldier run in and tell T'Challa, hey man, listen, there's a strike team outside. And this strike team, they work for, of course, the Desturi. And right now they're trying to take over the palace once again. And so you have Storm say, listen, I'll take care of it. Because this is Storm telling the world that one, she is back. And two, she is Queen of Wakanda once again. And three, you do not want to mess with Storm when she is angry. And so she goes out there and takes out the entire strike team with her powers. And it's kind of like, yeah, Storm is back, y'all. Storm is back. But then we jump back in the past once again, where we pick up with Dr. Doom still trying to convince the Panther God that he is not completely evil. Now, with that being said, though, as soon as you enter into the world of the Panther God, Bast is able to see all your past crimes. And so with that, you have Bast say, I've seen all your past crimes. You can't tell me all that death, all that blood that was spilled, everything bad that you have done. You cannot tell me that you actually think I'm gonna let you pass through the last and final lock. But then you have Dr. Doom say, what makes me different from the Black Panthers that you have chosen over the years to protect Wakanda? Because they have also killed, they have also spilled blood, they have also done some bad things. But those things they done was to protect their country, to make their country better. And this is Dr. Doom saying he is no different than Black Panther or the past Black Panthers that the Panther God has chosen. That in reality, he is very similar to them. But then we have to jump back into the present day. And the reason why, because we pick up with Reed Richards and T'Challa right now talking to one another. Because Reed is surprised in what T'Challa has made. T'Challa has made a vibranium tracker, and with that tracker he'll be able to locate different locations of vibranium, and he's hoping that with this tracker he can find the location on where Dr. Doom is hiding the vibranium, but to also find Dr. Doom as well. But then we jump in the past once again, where we pick up with Dr. Doom right now talking to Bast the Panther God. And this is the moment where you see Dr. Doom able to convince Bast the Panther God to let him pass the test. Because you have Dr. Doom say, what makes me different from all the past kings and queens and presidents and great leaders of past nations? Because they all have done bad things to keep their nation alive, to keep their nation protected. And so when you tell me that I'm a madman, I'm a crazy man, look at the nation I have now, Latveria. It's a great nation, even though I have done some bad things. I have killed some people, but my nation is protected and my nation is thriving. And so how dare you say I'm different? Because look at the Black Panthers that you have chosen. T'Challa and the past ones, because they all have done some bad things. They have killed, they have spilled blood, they have done a lot of bad things to protect Wakanda, to make sure Wakanda can still live on. And so again, what makes me different from them? Because are you going off the mind of the people right now on Earth who look at me as a madman, who looks at me as some crazy person? I will admit, I have done some more aggressive things than other kings or queens or even presidents have done, but I'm doing all these great things to actually help the Earth out. And so you didn't have Dr. Doom say, listen, I have seen so many different possible futures, but only in one future where the world is completely safe. There's no more hungry people. There's no more diseases. There's no more problems across the world. And the reason why in that one singular possible future is because I rule the entire planet. It becomes a doom world. And that is the only way the Earth will be saved from any kind of problems down the road. And so you can't tell me that I'm different from the Black Panthers, the kings and queens and the presidents, because what I'm trying to do is to make the Earth better, to protect my people, to protect the humans from any possible threat to come down the road. But getting back into the present day, we do pick up with our heroes right now discussing what should their next move be. Because right now, with T'Challa's vibranium tracker, he was able to find 16 different locations that are owned by Dr. Doom and of course the broker as well. And matter of fact, T'Challa now knows that Dr. Doom is working with the broker. Now with all that information said and stuff, of course you didn't have T'Challa say a huge amount of the vibranium is here in this one location on an eastern island, which could mean that Dr. Doom could be there or not be there. But either way, let's send in a team to basically go there and to hopefully find Dr. Doom and stop him. And so with that being said, you do have that team go out there. But when they get out there, they are greeted by an army of new creations made by Dr. Doom and the broker. It's basically now getting into the actual Doomwar storyline. But when we jump into the 4th chapter of this book, let me just say, the first few pages of this chapter is really more of our heroes fighting against the new version of the Doombots and other creations that Dr. Doom and the broker has made with the vibranium to basically take the heroes on. Now, you do have the broker say, hey, Dr. Doom, man, listen, your new creations, your new Doombots are doing great things against those heroes. The heroes might possibly die against your new robots and your new Doombots. But you have Dr. Doom say, I don't care. As long as the Doombots and even my new creations keep those heroes busy or not, as long as I have enough time to complete my goal, I don't care what happens with those Doombots or my new creations. Heck, they could go ahead and kill those heroes off. I wouldn't care because I'm so close to my actual goal. My lifetime goal is almost in reach. I don't care about anything else. So hopefully the heroes do die, but either way, who cares what happens to my new Doombots? Now, with that being said though, the heroes, they are struggling. They're getting their butt kicked until you have Shuri actually give over to the rest of the heroes a new kind of weapons, vibranium weapons, to kind of give them the edge against all those new vibranium robots that Dr. Doom has made. And so, like I said earlier, we are basically in the Doom War right now. It's T'Challa fighting against Dr. Doom. It's T'Challa trying to find Dr. Doom, and he's hoping that he can find Dr. Doom very soon. Now, after that big battle, we do have our heroes right now regrouping in one of their bases. Now, with that being said, they were unable to get Dr. Doom or the broker. And so with that big battle they had, was only them fighting against some robots, but that was really it. Now, once our heroes regroup, you do have our heroes say that they are very worried. And the reason why? Because the new Doom bots were powerful, but they were able to kind of give Dr. Doom and the Broker intel on every single weapon our heroes are using and how our heroes fight. And with that intel, now Dr. Doom and the Broker can take that intel and make a better version of Doom bots and other creations to adapt to our heroes, to make sure they have more ways to get rid of our heroes. And so with that being said, it's our heroes now saying we need to attack all his bases at once, because if we don't, that intel could literally help him take us out down the road. Now, you do have our heroes actually go out there and attack all the different factories that belong to Dr. Doom and the Broker. Now, with that being said though, you do have Dr. Doom say something very important. He said these attacks, they're not T'Challa attacks. These are Shuri attacks. And the reason why he says that is because of this reason right here. Because with T'Challa and Reed Richards, they're planning for things to go bad in a month or in a weeks. But this is Shuri, who already knows that Doomsday is coming tomorrow or later this day. And so with that, it's Shuri kind of playing the right move. Why are we trying to give Dr. Doom the time he needs to complete his goal when he is one of the smartest minds in the world? In reality, we should attack him right now and cut off all the time he can have to hopefully stop him. But then we jump over to Shuri and Storm. And the reason why, because Shuri and Storm are kind of like the two leaders who are leading most of the groups who are attacking the different factories that belong to Dr. Doom and also the Broker. Now, with that being said though, you have T'Challa and Reed staying at the base so that they can think of different ways on how to find Dr. Doom, how to stop Dr. Doom, and to hopefully save the entire world. Now, with all that being said though, Shuri and Storm, they're struggling out there. You do have the other members of the Fantastic Four out there as well, but still, it's Dr. Doom and the Broker with an army full of robots going up against the Fantastic Four, Shuri, T'Challa, and maybe a few members of the Dora Milajes. Right now, our heroes are at a losing advantage. And so you do have Shuri tell T'Challa the struggles they're having right now fighting against the armies of Dr. Doom. And of course, this makes T'Challa very angry because T'Challa and Reed should be able to put their minds together to find a way to stop Dr. Doom, but they can't. And so their problem is right now is kind of like, what can we do? And so that is the moment you have T'Challa say, okay, I do have a couple ideas. And one of them is something called shadow physics. Now, shadow physics is the combination of Wakanda technology, vibranium, and also using magic as well. It's a whole new thing that quickly comes and goes in Marvel Comics. And honestly, it was a very weird idea. But either way, though, it's Reed saying, listen, we do not know much about shadow physics. So how can the world do you think we could use shadow physics as a way to stop Dr. Doom? But this is T'Challa just trying to use anything he can to hopefully find a way to stop Dr. Doom. So as the pages goes on, we continue to see our heroes fighting against the army of Dr. Doom. They're trying to survive. They're trying to win. But Dr. Doom is winning this war. And this is why Doomwar is so amazing, because it's pushing T'Challa, it's pushing Reed and Shuri and the rest of the Fantastic Four in a corner. They have to think of different ways to possibly win this battle. But right now, they don't have anything left. With Reed being scared to use shadow physics and our heroes getting their butt kicked, it's kind of like, what do our heroes have left? What can they do? But of course, T'Challa always has another plan up his sleeve. But this plan is very different though. And what I mean by different is, well, we do go over to Latveria, the southern border of Latveria. And the reason why? Because we come to find out what is the X factor that Black Panther has brought in. And that X factor is no other than Deadpool. Deadpool is here to hopefully change the war into Black Panther's favor. And so when we jump into the 5th issue of this series, you do have Shuri give an update to T'Challa and Reed Richards. And she tells them these battles is becoming very costly because they have lost a lot of people over the short period of time. And so with that is Shuri saying, we can't keep doing this. We can't keep going to all of his different factories and thinking that we're going to stop him there. We need to find a new plan, and that new plan needs to come now. We need to find Dr. Doom to finally end this before we lose every single person from our country, to stop this one singular madman. But then we see another meeting going on between Dr. Doom and also the broker. And this meeting right here is really more of the broker telling Dr. Doom, hey man, listen to me real quick. Like, what you're doing right now is great and all, but like, you're hurting your finances. You're hurting your chance to actually recover just in case you fail. But for Dr. Doom, he really believes that he is not going to fail. He believes that he is actually going to be able to continue on. He'll finally reach his lifetime goal. And so with that being said, is Dr. Doom telling the broker again, I do not care about anything except actually completing my lifetime goal. Now, we do see a meeting going on with T'Challa and also Reed Richards. Now, with this meeting, they're also meeting up with Deadpool. Now, remember, Deadpool is supposed to be T'Challa's X Factor to help him win this war. And so with that being said, you're probably wondering, how in the world is Deadpool an X Factor? Well, let me explain, because you actually have T'Challa reintroduce the shadow physics once again. Because remember, shadow physics is a new kind of science that Black Panther has introduced to us in this storyline. Well, really in earlier books, but either way though, of course, that is the moment you basically have T'Challa also introduce the Nowhere Room. Now, the Nowhere Room gives someone the ability to find someone or something when they put their mind to it. Now, with that being said though, the reason why Deadpool must be the one to do it is because when you enter into the room, your mind could go mad. It can make anybody go mad, anybody go crazy. But when it comes to Deadpool, he is already crazy. And so to T'Challa, this is the best option, because then they can send Deadpool in there to find Dr. Doom and to hopefully stop this entire war. Because once Deadpool put his mind to work on finding Dr. Doom inside the Nowhere Room, he'll be teleported right to where Dr. Doom is at. But also, we begin to see the downfall of Dr. Doom. What I mean is this right here, because you do have a random tech guy tell Shuri some good news. One of the good news he has to tell her is that he was able to hack into the accounts of Dr. Doom. And with that, he can basically send all the money of Dr. Doom to different charities across the world, meaning that he's taking all of the money away from Dr. Doom. But with him doing that, that also means that now Dr. Doom does not have the funds to actually keep this war going. And so sooner or later, Dr. Doom is gonna have to quit because he has no money to basically fund this war, to keep his robots going, to pay the broker as well. Now, you also have Reed Richards bringing in another person to help out with this war, because to Reed, what he's worried about right now is basically this becoming a global war, a World War III, and he does not want that at all. And so the person he calls in is War Machine, because he's hoping that with War Machine being there, he can kind of bring some faith back into T'Challa, to have T'Challa beginning to think straight. Because right now T'Challa is not thinking straight. He's basically doing all these different things left and right that could hurt his country or hurt his wife or even hurt himself and his people. And so this is Reed saying, to avoid a possible global war, I am going to call in the War Machine. And hopefully War Machine will be able to bring faith back into T'Challa. Now, you do have the storyline jump over to some members of the Fantastic Four who are going to a certain location to hopefully find Doctor Doom. Of course, they don't, because when they get there, they run into more robots who begin the process of actually attacking them. Now, with these members of the Fantastic Four, they do get very lucky. And what I mean by lucky is that you do have War Machine come in to kind of help them clean up the mess. And so now War Machine is with the rest of the heroes trying to figure out a way to actually stop Doctor Doom. But getting back over to Deadpool, let's not forget that Deadpool is using the Nowhere Room. And remember, the Nowhere Room has the ability to send anyone anywhere in the world if they put their mind to it. But here comes the big problem though. With the Nowhere Room, as soon as you enter, the process of using it is too much for a regular person. You begin to go mad. You begin to go crazy. Now, with that being said though, Deadpool is already crazy. He is already mad. And so with those things being said, it's basically Deadpool being the perfect candidate to go ahead and use the Nowhere Room so that he can be teleported to where Doctor Doom is at. Now, with that being said though, Reed Richards and T'Challa, they made sure to use a tracker on Deadpool. So as soon as he arrives near Doctor Doom, they know where to go. And that right there is very important to say, because as soon as Deadpool is able to leave the Nowhere Room, he does arrive right next to Doctor Doom. And so now our heroes know where Doctor Doom was hiding at. But the problem is though, they're too late. Doctor Doom was able to use the vibranium as a way to power himself up. Because remember, Doctor Doom was taking it to find a way to use vibranium to kind of make his magical powers even stronger. And right now, he has. And so you now have a Doctor Doom that is way too overpowered. Now, when we get into the final chapter of this book, we actually do pick up with Doctor Doom what it seems like he has won the war, because T'Challa is on the ground. Doctor Doom is standing over him. Doctor Doom seems like he has won the great battle, and that is huge. But the problem is though, how did we get to this point right here? So we do jump back 12 hours ago where we do have another meeting, except this time it's Reed Richards, T'Challa, Shuri, and Iron Man. Now, the reason why Iron Man is there now because Iron Man found out that T'Challa has used Deadpool as a way to find Doctor Doom. Now, you do have T'Challa tell his sister, hey sis, I was able to find Doctor Doom and we should totally head there right now. But then you have Shuri say, if we go to Latveria, we'll seem like we're going to war with Latveria. And we're trying to avoid that, a whole global incident. But of course, you didn't have T'Challa say, do not worry, because I have sent in the Midnight Angels. And the Midnight Angels look like they have no ties to anyone at all. So no one's going to know that they are connected to us. Now for Shuri, she's upset because again, right now, technically, she is in charge of Wakanda. And so every choice should go through her. But it is T'Challa making moves without asking his sister, at the same time making moves which he thinks are the correct moves, but could possibly hurt them down the road. Now, you do have Doctor Doom basically putting on his new armor. And with him putting on his new armor, that means that he is getting stronger and stronger. And so sooner or later, he is going to begin the process of wreaking havoc across the world. Now, with that being said though, Deadpool is there. He is kind of cut up and badly injured, but of course he does have a healing factor. Now, with that being said though, right now you do have Deadpool having a camera somewhere placed on his body to give T'Challa and also Reed Richards the ability to see what is happening right now. And so with that being said, everyone is realizing Doctor Doom is about to be very, very overpowered. And so with that, they need to regroup right now to the Deadpool location to finally stop Doctor Doom. This has to end now, because if we don't, it is going to be the end of the earth. And so while you have every single team trying to head back to the location of their secret base, you have Doctor Doom just getting stronger and stronger. And now we're about to get into the big part of the Doom War. Now, I do want to mention one more thing. There are ley lines across the world. Now, these ley lines cannot be seen, but these ley lines do give Doctor Doom the ability to be connected to every single piece of vibranium. Because remember what I said earlier, Black Panther and Wakanda only had most of the vibranium. There's still other kinds of vibranium across the world. And right now, Doctor Doom is connected to every single one of them, making him even more powerful. Now, getting back over to T'Challa, you do have T'Challa call up some members of the hero community that he knows. And this is really more of T'Challa asking for more help. But the problem is, though, you have everyone say, no, we cannot help because we have ties to America, meaning that if we step in, that could possibly mean that we are looking like America is attacking Latveria. And so we're trying to avoid any kind of any political problem or any kind of global problem that you are doing right now going against Latveria as you represent Wakanda. And so right now, all we can do is just stay in our country and defend ourselves if you fail to stop Doctor Doom. But if you want to stop Doctor Doom, then you need to do whatever you can to actually stop him. Now, we do jump right before the present moment. And what I mean is this right here. We actually do pick up with all our heroes, including Deadpool, right now fighting against Doctor Doom. Because once again, with Deadpool having a locator on him, you had all the heroes who were working with T'Challa, including T'Challa and Reed Richards, going to Doctor Doom's location, which means that right now, we're in the final battle, the big hoorah, the grand battle of all battles for this storyline. But with that being said, though, you do have Doctor Doom just kicking everybody's butt. Left and right. They come towards him, he sends them flying. They try this, he stops that. Like literally, they can't do nothing at all. And so it leads us right into the present moment of the 6th issue, where we saw Doctor Doom standing over Black Panther, because now he has failed. Black Panther has lost this battle to Doctor Doom. But T'Challa has one more thing left up his sleeve. Now, this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. And the reason why is because you didn't have T'Challa introduce a device. Now, this device is also connected to the ley lines of the vibranium. Now, with that being said, though, you have T'Challa say, listen, with my device having all connections to the ley lines across the world that are connected to every single piece of vibranium, with my device, I can make every piece of vibranium become useless. That right there is very huge because there is vibranium on Doctor Doom. And so if T'Challa does that, that means the vibranium Doctor Doom has right now will also become useless, which means that it will depower Doctor Doom and end this war. But on top of that right there, you have to realize for T'Challa, when it comes to Wakanda, they get most of their money from vibranium. And so now, with them losing vibranium, it could technically hurt his country a whole lot. But this is T'Challa saying, I have no choice. To save my country, to save the world, I have to do this right here. As a king, as a warrior, we must always do what we believe is the right thing to do to help save our world. And so with a click of his button, he was able to make every single piece of vibranium basically useless. And Doomwar ends just like that, with Doctor Doom being defeated and our heroes able to win the battle. But with that being said, please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But later, guys, I'll see y'all next time. Bye.